Let me tell you something. Real strength is not built in the spotlight. It's not sculpted under applause. It's built in silence, forged in discipline, carved through consistency. I'm not talking about the kind of discipline you put on like a nice suit for Sunday morning, then hang back up when Monday rolls around. I'm talking about that relentless kind of discipline. The one that wakes you up when the world sleeps. The one that holds your tongue when anger wants to speak. The one that says, do it again. Even when you're tired, even when nobody's watching. You see, everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to prepare. Everybody wants the prize, but not everybody wants to pay the price. Discipline is the price. It's not glamorous, it's not shiny. It's grinding when the grind hurts. It's choosing focus over comfort. It's saying no to good so you can say yes to great. Think about an athlete. Before that spotlight hits the arena, before the crowd screams their name, before the medals and the trophies, they were in the gym alone at 5 a.m., sweat dripping, lungs burning, body aching, but still pushing. Why? Because consistency doesn't care about feelings. Feelings are temporary, but habits become your armor. They make you unbreakable. Discipline doesn't mean perfection, no. It means commitment. It means that even when you fall, and trust me, you will, you get back up with purpose. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't brag. It shows up every single day, quietly molding you into someone who doesn't break under pressure. It's what allows you to stare down fear and keep walking forward. That's power. That's resilience. That's staying strong. Now, hear me on this. Discipline starts in the mind. Before your body moves, your mind decides. You train your thoughts the way a boxer trains punches. Negative thoughts come in, hit back with truth. Self-doubt tries to sneak in. Knock it out with action. You have to discipline your mind to focus on what you want, not on what you fear. To focus on what you're becoming, not what you've been through. And here's the truth. Life isn't going to wait for you to get ready. Storms will come. Pain will knock at your door. Pressure will weigh on your chest. But if you've been building discipline in the quiet, if you've been showing up even when it didn't feel good, then when the chaos arrives, you'll stand, you won't crumble, you won't fold. You'll move with clarity, not panic, with faith, not fear. You don't have to be the loudest in the room. You don't have to tell the world what you're doing. Let your consistency speak. Let your discipline shine. Because when you're consistent, you create momentum. And momentum is a force. It pushes through doubt. It breaks down walls. It outlasts fatigue. That's why some people stay standing when others fall. It's not magic. It's muscle built from small daily disciplined choices. And don't get it twisted. Discipline isn't just about doing the hard work. It's about doing the right work. It's about alignment. Are your actions aligned with your values? Are your choices aligned with your calling? Are your habits aligned with the person you say you want to become? Because if they're not, then it's not discipline. It's distraction. And distractions will keep you busy but never fulfilled. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're telling life, I'm ready. I'm not here to play small. I'm not here to just exist. I'm here to grow. I'm here to impact. I'm here to walk in purpose. You're not just building routines, you're building a legacy. So let the world sleep. Let them doubt. Let them question. You just keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep moving in truth. Because discipline isn't about what you do occasionally, it's who you become consistently. Stay strong, not because life is easy, but because you decided your purpose was worth more than your pain. When the storm hits, and it will, you've got to hold on to something that doesn't shake. That's faith. I'm not just talking about religion, though that's powerful if you have it. I'm talking about that deeper kind of faith, the belief that something greater is at work, that even in the darkness, purpose is moving. See, circumstances will lie to you. They'll whisper that you're finished, that you've been forgotten, that nothing will ever get better. But faith doesn't answer to circumstances. Faith answers to truth. Faith is what steps out when the path isn't clear. Faith is what keeps walking when the ground starts shaking. Faith is what holds you steady when everything else is falling apart. There will be days when life tries to break you. Loss, failure, betrayal. Life doesn't ask permission to throw these things at you. And when those days come, strength won't come from what you see. It'll come from what you believe. That's why your faith has to be bigger than your fear. Fear looks at the facts and folds. Faith looks at the facts and fights. You can't afford to let fear run the show, because fear will always try to steal your future before it even begins. But faith will remind you that you're not finished yet, that there's more to your story, that you're still breathing, still walking, still standing. And as long as that's true, you've still got purpose in your bones. You've got to feed your faith like it's fuel, because it is. Feed it with truth, feed it with hope, feed it with the vision of who you're called to be. Don't wait until things get better to believe. Believe so that things can get better. That's the difference. Some folks only have faith when life's good, when the bills are paid, when the relationships are whole. But that kind of faith, that's conditional. That's shallow. Real faith, the kind that carries you through, is built in the fire. It's what you hold on to when nothing makes sense. When you don't have the answers. When the plan falls apart, that's when faith gets real. Let me tell you something, faith is not passive. It's not just sitting back and hoping everything turns out okay. No, faith moves, faith acts, faith steps, faith keeps showing up. Even when you feel weak, even when you're afraid, faith says, go again. That's how miracles happen. That's how mountains move. Not by waiting, but by believing so deeply that your steps refuse to stop. You might cry, you might stumble, but faith won't let you quit. Not if you nurture it. Not if you trust it, and sometimes faith will mean believing when nobody else does. Your circle may doubt you. The world may overlook you. But don't you ever forget, faith isn't about them. It's about you choosing to believe in something beyond the moment. It's about you declaring that pain doesn't get the final word. That failure isn't the finish line. That even when you're broken, you're still chosen, still called, still valuable. Now understand, this faith won't always fix things overnight. It won't always take the pain away, but it will give you strength while you wait. It will anchor you. It will hold your heart together when the world tries to tear it apart. That's why you can't let go of it. You've got to protect your faith like it's treasure, because in a world full of noise and confusion, it's one of the only things that can still lead you to peace. When you walk by faith, you're not walking blind. You're walking with vision. The kind of vision that sees what isn't yet real, that hears the promise louder than the problem, that believes even when the evidence says not to. And that kind of faith makes you dangerous, because when you believe, truly believe, you become unstoppable. You start speaking life over your situation. You start walking like it's already done. You stop shrinking and start rising. So don't let the world talk you out of your belief. Don't let hardship drown your hope. No matter how heavy the day, how hard the season, how long the night, keep your faith intact. Because one day, all the waiting, all the pain, all the pressure, it'll make sense. You'll look back and realize you were never alone. That every step had purpose. That your faith didn't just carry you, it transformed you. Stay strong, because when you walk by faith, even the darkest path leads to light. Character is who you are when the lights are off. When there's no stage, no crowd, no camera, just you, your choices, and your conscience. That's where real strength is tested. See, it's easy to do the right thing when everyone's watching, when there's a pat on the back waiting. But the real question is, what do you do when nobody sees? Who are you when there's no applause? That's where integrity lives. That's where strength lives. And that's where legacy is built. In a world that's obsessed with image, with validation, with being seen and celebrated, there's something unshakable about a person who chooses character over clout. That kind of strength doesn't fade when the spotlight moves. It's steady, it's honest, and it speaks volumes without ever needing to shout, because character isn't about being perfect. It's about being accountable. It's about choosing what's right, even when it's not easy. Especially when it's not easy. There are moments in life where shortcuts look tempting, where bending the rules seems like the fastest path to success. But let me tell you, if it costs your character, it costs too much. Don't trade integrity for convenience. Don't sacrifice your truth just to get ahead. Because what you compromise to gain, you'll have to keep compromising to maintain. And that's a prison, not a victory. True strength is found in the silent decisions. The ones no one claps for, the ones no one thanks you for. The ones that feel like they don't matter, but they do. Every time you choose honesty over ease, every time you show respect even when it's not returned, Every time you stay grounded when pride wants to rise up, you're building something powerful. You're building a foundation that won't crack under pressure. And don't think character goes unnoticed. It may not get headlines, it may not trend, but it leaves an impression that lasts longer than any fame. People might forget what you said, they might even forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And character makes people feel safe. It makes people feel valued. It makes people trust you because they know you stand for something solid. You want to stay strong in any situation. Start with character. Build from the inside out. When you know who you are, when your values are clear, when your principles don't shift with the wind, you become immovable. Storms may come, setbacks may strike, but they won't break you, because your foundation isn't built on applause or approval. It's built on conviction. And look, character is tested the most when pressure hits, when everything's on the line, when walking away would be easier than staying true. That's when you find out what you're made of. Will you gossip when it's popular? Will you cut corners when no one's checking? Will you betray someone's trust just to save yourself? Those are the moments that define you, not your resume, not your title. Your choices under pressure, that's where your legacy is written, even when life gets unfair. And it will. Don't let bitterness change who you are. Stay just, stay real, let your actions reflect the values you claim, because there's nothing more powerful than a person whose character stands tall in a world that's always trying to pull them down. People like that become anchors in chaos. They become light in the darkness. They inspire not just with words, but with consistency. So be the same person behind closed doors that you are in public. Let your handshake mean something. Let your word be your bond. Don't let pride lead. Let principle lead. Because in the end, the loudest voice isn't always the strongest. It's the quiet, disciplined, consistent character that outlasts the noise. That's the kind of strength you can trust. That's the kind of strength that doesn't just survive, it leads. Stay strong, because when your character is unshakable, no situation can break you. There comes a time when you have to stop running, stop hiding, stop making excuses. You have to face the reality that there's a calling on your life, a purpose that God specifically designed for you, not for someone else, not for the person you admire, but for you. You weren't born by accident. You weren't placed here to just exist. You were born with divine intent, a mission embedded in your very soul. And the longer you run from it, the heavier life will feel. Because when you're not walking in your calling, something inside of you always feels off. Like you're out of alignment, like you're moving but not going anywhere. And that's because purpose is not optional. It's essential. But here's the thing, purpose is not always pretty. It's not always comfortable. It doesn't always make sense to the people around you. In fact, many times walking in your purpose will cost you. It'll cost you popularity. It'll cost you convenience. It'll cost you comfort zones, old habits, and even some relationships. Because when you say yes to God's plan, you have to say no to your own. You have to surrender your vision to receive His. And that's not easy. That's not light work. That takes courage. That takes faith. You can't fulfill your purpose and still live like you have no direction. You can't keep blending in when you were created to stand out. You can't keep shrinking when you were born to carry weight. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until your life looks perfect. If you're breathing, you're ready. If your heart is beating, the time is now. There is no perfect moment. And if God brought you to it, He'll equip you to walk through it. We spend so much time wondering, what if I fail? But what if you succeed? What if stepping into your purpose changes everything? Not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. Because your obedience doesn't just impact your life, it impacts generations. Someone's breakthrough is on the other side, your surrender. Someone's healing is connected to your obedience. You're not just saying yes for yourself. You're saying yes for the people who need your voice, your story, your strength. Don't minimize what God placed in you. Don't underestimate how powerful your yes can be. See, the enemy doesn't attack people without purpose. If he's been after you, if he's been trying to distract you, detour you, discourage you, it's because he knows what you carry. He knows the impact you're capable of. So he tries to make you doubt it. He'll try to convince you that you're not enough, that you missed your chance, that it's too late. But the devil is a liar. If you're still here, God's not done. If you're still breathing, purpose is still calling. You may have made mistakes, but God still has a plan. You may feel unqualified, but God still calls you chosen. Don't let fear paralyze you when faith is trying to propel you. The truth is, you won't always feel like doing it. You won't always feel strong or brave or equipped. But purpose isn't about feelings. It's about obedience. It's about trusting that if God called you, He'll carry you. It's about showing up even when it's uncomfortable. It's about pushing through even when it's painful. Because that's where growth happens. That's where transformation happens. And on the other side of that pain is power. On the other side of that resistance is resurrection. You're not just walking into a new season, you're walking into the reason you were created. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Stop waiting, stop doubting, stop running. The calling is real, the assignment is real. And time is too short to keep pretending you don't hear God's voice. He's been calling you, nudging you, pushing you, and He's not going to stop because what He placed inside of you is too important. So stand up, step up, it's your time. Because when you stop running from your purpose and start running toward it, the world begins to change, starting with you. Pain has a way of breaking us open, but it also has a way of building something in us that comfort never could. When you go through trials, it's easy to wonder where God is. You cry out, you question, you plead for relief, and sometimes all you get is silence. But even in that silence, God is present. Even in your lowest moment, He's working. Pain isn't the absence of God. It's often the very place where you find Him the most. Because there's something about pain that strips away the noise, the pride, the distractions. It brings you to your knees, and that's where real strength begins, not when you're standing tall, but when you're bowed down, broken, surrendered. God never promised a life without pain, but He promised He'd be with us in it. He said, when you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. Not if you go through it when pain is inevitable, but what you do with it, how you respond, who you become because of it. That's where the testimony is born. Every scar has a story, but not every story becomes a weapon for healing until you surrender it. Some of your deepest wounds are very things God wants to use to reach others. That heartbreak, that betrayal, that season of lack, it wasn't in vain. God doesn't waste pain. He transforms it. And see, It's in the valley, not the mountaintop, where character is forged. You don't build endurance when things are easy. You build it when you're barely holding on, and you decide to trust anyway. You find out who you are when life presses you, and you find out who God is when you let Him meet you in your brokenness. Sometimes He doesn't deliver you from the fire. He walks with you in it. Sometimes the miracle isn't that the storm stopped. It's that you survived it. You're still standing, you're still here, and that alone is evidence of grace. But let's be honest, pain changes you. The question is or does it make you better? Does it harden your heart, or does it humble you? Because pain is a teacher. And if you're willing to learn, it will teach you how to pray deeper, how to forgive faster, how to love harder. It'll teach you to stop taking moments for granted. It'll teach you what really matters. Pain strips away the superficial and introduces you to your soul. It teaches you to lean not on your own strength, but on God's. And when you come out on the other side, because you will come out wiser, stronger, softer, and more anchored. We love to talk about purpose, but nobody likes the process. We celebrate the promise, but celebrate from the pain that produces it. But there's no resurrection without a crucifixion. There's no breakthrough without some breaking. Sometimes what you're calling a curse is really a classroom. Sometimes what you think is punishment is preparation. The rejection wasn't random, it was redirection. The loss wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something greater. God sees what you can't. He's painting on a canvas too big for you to see right now. But trust, when it's all said and done, it's going to be a masterpiece. You may be crying right now. You may be in a season of deep sorrow, confusion, or loneliness, and that's real. Don't fake it. Don't suppress it. Feel it. Bring it to God. He can handle your pain. He's not afraid of your questions. He's not disappointed in your tears. In fact, the Word says He keeps track of every single one. That's how much He cares. That's how present He is. You're not abandoned. You're not forgotten. And you're definitely not alone. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet are the ones who've walked through the fire and refused to quit. The ones who didn't let pain define them, but allowed it to refine them. That can be you. You don't have to stay bitter. There is healing on the other side of your surrender. There is power in your scars. And when you give it all to God, He doesn't just restore what you lost. He gives it back, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because when you let pain push you into the presence of God, it no longer controls you. It transforms you. There's a fight happening every day, and most people don't even realize they're in the middle of it. It's not a fight with fists. It's not a war you see with your eyes. It's a spiritual battle, a battle for your mind, your heart, your soul. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet hit the ground, the enemy is already whispering lies. You're not enough. You'll never change. God doesn't care about you. Look at your mistakes. Look at your past. And if you're not rooted in truth, those lies will grow into beliefs. And those beliefs, they'll shape how you walk, how you love, how you see yourself, how you treat others, and how much you trust God. Spiritual warfare is real. It's not fiction. It's not a metaphor. The Word says, the wrestle not against flesh and blood. That means your battle isn't with that person who hurt you. It's not with your boss, your partner, your family. Your real enemy is the one trying to get you to give up, to walk away, to live your life numb. He doesn't want you to pray. He doesn't want you to worship. He doesn't want you to remember who you are and whose you are. Because if you ever really knew the power God put inside you, the enemy's plans wouldn't stand a chance. But that's where the armor of God comes in. God doesn't send you into battle empty-handed. He gives you weapons, truth, righteousness, peace, faith, salvation, the Word, prayer. These aren't poetic words, they're tools for survival. The helmet of salvation protects your mind. The breastplate of righteousness guards your heart. The shield of faith deflects every lie. The sword of the Spirit, that's the Word of God, is your offense. But here's the thing, you have to put it on. God gave it to you. but he won't force you to wear it. He won't fight your battles for you if you're not willing to stand. So many of us live in defeat because we've gotten too comfortable in the flesh and too casual about the spiritual. We try to fight spiritual battles with natural weapons: anger, manipulation, distraction, denial. And then we wonder why we're still exhausted, still empty, still anxious. You can't fix spiritual problems with carnal solutions. You need to pray. You need to fast. You need to open the Word and not just read it, but live it. This isn't about religion. It's about survival. The devil isn't afraid of a churchgoer. He's afraid of a believer who actually knows how to pray, how to worship through warfare, how to speak life when everything around them looks dead. Some days you won't feel like fighting. You'll want to stay in bed. You'll want to check out. You'll want to quit. But that's when you have to dig deep and remember who you serve. You don't serve a weak God. You don't serve a dead God. You serve the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion of Judah. You serve the one who already defeated death, hell, and the grave. So why are you walking around like you're powerless? Why are you acting like the enemy has the final say? He doesn't. The cross already declared your victory. The tomb is already empty. The blood has already been shed. Yes, you're in a battle, but you're not alone. The Spirit of God lives in you. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead is alive in you. And that means you can't be defeated unless you choose to lay down. So stand up. Speak like truth. Don't wait for the atmosphere to shift. Shift it with your praise. Don't wait for the enemy to retreat. Send him packing with the Word. Take your place. You were born for this. You were called for this. God did not bring you this far to leave you now. And when the warfare gets heavy, and it will, remember that your praise is a weapon, your worship is a shield, and your faith is your anchor. Don't just survive, fight. Fight with everything in you. Because you are not fighting for victory. You're fighting for victory. The battle's already won. Now walk like it, live like it, and believe it. Because when you finally recognize that spiritual warfare is real, you stop playing defense and start walking in dominion.